ช่วยทำโดยมิสุมารุเบนซ์ทองหล่อ
อรุณสวัสดิ์ท่านผู้ชมค่ะขอต้อนรับเข้าสู่ช่วยคิดช่วยทำนะคะซึ่งวันนี้เราออกมานอกสถานที่จะมีโอกาสมาพูดคุยกันนะคะกับผู้ที่เขาเรียกว่าเป็นนักกลยุทธ์ในการวางแผนเรื่องของการลงทุนเรื่องของการตลาดในการหาโอกาสใหม่ๆในการลงทุนด้วยโดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่งในกลุ่ม CLMV หรือที่เรารู้จักในนามเพื่อนบ้านของเราละค่ะไม่ว่าจะเป็นพม่าเวียดนามกัมพูชาแล้วก็ลาวนั่นเองนะคะวันนี้เราได้มีโอกาสมาพูดคุยกันนะคะกับ CEO ของ Ipsos Business Consulting นะคะซึ่งก็มีสาขาอยู่16ประเทศทั่วโลกเลยทีเดียววันนี้คุณปีเตอร์ Snell อยู่กับเราค่ะ Good morning Welcome to our program. Actually, you can speak Thai.
Nitnoi.
I understand that you have worked in Japan, Singapore, and Hong Kong for many years. But
yes.
Could you tell us about your experience and expertise when it comes to CLMV?
I've actually lived in Asia for 30 years. I started off in Hong Kong, and then I came to Thailand, and I lived here for 9 years. From 1987 until 1996, and in that time the Mekong sub-region, if you like, particularly Indochina, was opening up. Vietnam was the first to move, and then when UNTAC took over Cambodia, that became a market that began to open up.
And at then, that time, being in Cambodia at that time.
Yeah, I was in fact, I went to, very early on, I went in with the first sort of batch of UNTAC troops to deploy there, with a delegation from Bangkok to look for business opportunities up there.
Oh, at that time.
So, yes.
So interesting.
Yes, and there was very little there because the regime had, the Khmer Rouge regime had taken the place back to sort of an agrarian society.
Yeah.
And it became a place where there was literally no business, and it was starting all over again.
Yeah.
There were no cars.
We know CLMV are our neighbors.
Yeah.
With differences and similarities, we are different in terms of politics, system,
Yes.
and the stage economic development.
Yes.
But there are similarities,
Yeah.
such as tradition, religious tradition, certain custom, agricultural products, and also tourism as well.
Yeah.
Given this, could we use the implementations of AEC in 2015 for us, for CLMV and Thailand, get the mutual benefits?
Yeah, I think that Thailand sits at the hub of CLMV, and it's been the natural place from which people have launched initiatives into CLMV. And as the country, I mean, Vietnam has come a long way in the last 20 years to be an interesting market. But initially, a lot of the business there was actually generated out of Thailand because of the close proximity. I mean, Bangkok is closer to Ho Chi Minh City than Ho Chi Minh City is to Hanoi.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of natural development, and obviously Cambodia is right on the doorstep in between.
Yeah.
And even Myanmar, there was, ASEAN actually had a process of engagement with Myanmar before the regime started to loosen up there and open itself up to the outside world. So I think that there's going to be, and with the implementation of the AEC, that's going to make a big difference all around, because there'll be a migration of labour, much more easy migration of labour, as well as cross-border trade. And the opportunities for Thai companies, this CLMV is within AEC probably the last big frontier, the last frontier, because the other markets have opened up, maybe 15, 20 years ago and been developing, and these markets have been relatively sheltered and are now starting to become of real interest.
Yeah. And how about, I heard that the major investor, major powers like Singaporean and Japanese corporates have focused especially Myanmar.
Yeah.
That's right. So, in a while, meanwhile, Myanmar still have some very complication, so many things, and right now, just like the economic, like a bubble forming, like Vietnam a few years ago, something like that.
Yes, I think the problem that a lot of investors have found with CLMV is especially in Vietnam, has been the government, have not really taken their hands off the business and let it flow freely, and they have some issues, with corruption up there as well. So people are looking at the markets to see where the best opportunities lie, and obviously a market the size of Myanmar, with the natural resources that Myanmar has, is going to be very interesting to everybody, because it's been pretty much closed off for 50 years. And so now it's a great opportunity for them to move in. And I think the people that move in are two types. First of all, the Japanese tend to invest heavily and make deals, give benefits to the country, so the governments look at them in a very friendly way. And I think you mentioned Singapore, but I think Chinese investors in general, and Singaporean Chinese particularly, are prepared to take risks, and they will go into these places. And it was very true here in Thailand in the early days. They're prepared to take risks much earlier on in the economic development cycle, and therefore they reap, because they see, they can get better returns for their money there, although it's high risk.
Okay, we will talk some more about risk later. Okay. เอาละค่ะ เดี๋ยวเราจะกลับมาคุยกันต่อเกี่ยวกับธุรกิจที่น่าจะลงทุนใน CLMV รวมถึงความเสี่ยงต่างๆที่อาจจะเกิดขึ้นโดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่งคุณที่เป็น SME ห้ามพลาดช่วงหน้าค่ะ
คิดช่วยทำโดยยาขมิ้นชันแคปซูลจากเวชพงศ์โอสถ
เอาละค่ะเรากลับเข้ามาช่วยคิดช่วยทำกันต่อกับเรื่องราวที่น่าสนใจคำแนะนำในการลงทุนในกลุ่มประเทศ CLMV กับมิสเตอร์ปีเตอร์สเนลนะคะที่เป็น CEO ของบริษัท Ipsos Business Consulting ค่ะ So next we will talk about if we would like to invest in the CLMV, what type of business most interesting and have the greatest opportunity or greatest potential?
Okay, I think there are probably 4 businesses that come immediately to mind if you're looking to invest there. I think the first one would probably be construction, because there are great opportunities for construction, both in terms of infrastructure and in terms of housing and office buildings, that kind of thing, because these are economies that are just emerging. So there are great opportunities. I mean, Vietnam, there's been opportunities in construction for some time.
Plenty of laborers.
There's plenty of labor at good rates in these countries. In fact, I gave a talk in Hong Kong not so long ago, pointing out that China may not be the workshop of the world for too much longer, because there are opportunities in lower cost countries coming up now, because the labour there is getting expensive, and one of the prime destinations for that was Vietnam, and I think that now that Myanmar is opening up, that will also offer a large pool of labour, because look at the other countries, not so much. They're smaller countries. Cambodia and Laos are smaller, but they have other areas. So I think construction would be one area. Obviously, agribusiness is another area, because this part of the world, and by that I mean Thailand and Indochina, are highly productive in terms of agricultural produce, both in aquaculture and CLMV.
Even the same product?
Yeah, the same kind of products. Well, rice, basically.
Yeah.
This is pretty much the rice bowl of Asia.
Yes, that's right.
Thailand has been a major rice producer, but I think last year, if I remember correctly, Vietnam's rice production overtook.
Yeah, but different quality.
Different quality. Thai rice has excellent quality.
Thank you.
Fragrant. And I think the investments in agriculture will increase productivity in these areas, because basically the markets still rely on manual labour in the planting and the harvesting of the crops, and the cycle to do it by hand is very long. Whereas with a little bit of mechanisation, and I'm not talking about massive combine harvesters, but small ones that are more typical in other parts of Asia, will improve the productivity. So we've got construction, we've got agriculture. I think energy will be a key area. For instance, Laos has set itself up to be, if you like, the battery of Southeast Asia, because it has great natural resources in terms of hydroelectric power, so that when that is harnessed, the production of electricity from hydropower will be far exceed the requirements of Laos as a country, and therefore they will export the power to the neighbouring countries, and that will benefit. That will be going to Vietnam, to Thailand, and to Myanmar, and probably Cambodia. So that's another area where there's a great deal of opportunity. And finally, I think automotive will offer a great opportunity. And the motorcycle business is already huge. It used to be huge here in Thailand.
Yeah, truck, now, a small truck,
small trucks,
van.
Yeah, and in Vietnam, it's already taking off. And so the manufacture of components, and Thailand, of course, is I remember when the Eastern Seaboard was developed to be the Detroit of the East.
Yeah, that's right.
The manufacturing of components, and these markets will open up both to motorcycles and to automotive manufacturing, and ultimately, the pickup trucks, the market will go through the same development stages. People will go from 2 wheels to 4 wheels. They'll go from pickup trucks. As the countries become more affluent, they'll go to passenger cars. So there's going to be over the next 20 years, there are going to be very big opportunities in all of these markets.
Sounds like the opportunity for the big company.
Yeah.
How about the SME?
I think that the big companies put the manufacturing plants in, but the components, they don't manufacture every single component themselves, so that the SMEs will come in to manufacture the components for the cars, because initially with production, these are there are assembly plants that actually use CKDs, completely knocked down kits, and then they assemble cars and motorcycles from those. But ultimately, they start to outsource component manufacturing locally, because it's more economical, and also because government provide incentives for them to do that. And that's precisely what happened here.
Anyway, we have to learn about the risk as well.
Yes.
Yeah, for each country as well.
So that they will go through a period of development. But I think that those 4 areas will be the ones that offer the most opportunity in the short to medium term.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us today. We just have only limited time. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Hope to see you. Hope to see you to talk with you later.
Okay. ขอบคุณมากครับ
Thank you very much ขอบคุณมากค่ะ เอาละค่ะวันนี้อย่างน้อยที่สุดเราก็ได้เห็นภาพนะคะสำหรับคนที่เรียกว่าเป็นมืออาชีพในการวางกลยุทธ์แล้วก็มองเห็นลู่ทางในการลงทุนในประเทศของกลุ่ม CLMV นะคะมีช่องทางไม่ว่าจะเป็นบริษัทขนาดใหญ่ซึ่งก็ไปลงทุนกันมากมายแล้วรวมถึงบริษัทขนาดเล็กๆขนาดกลางๆด้วยเหมือนกันนะคะเดี๋ยววันนี้เราคงจะได้กลับไปคิดทบทวนกันอีกทีนึงว่าเราทำธุรกิจอยู่กลุ่มไหนแล้วก็มีโอกาสที่จะลงทุนใน CLMV ได้มากขึ้นหรือเปล่าแต่สำคัญที่สุดการลงทุนย่อมมีความเสี่ยงนะคะศึกษาเรื่องของความเสี่ยงให้ดีด้วยเหมือนกันเอาละค่ะวันนี้หมดเวลาสำหรับช่วงนี้นะคะเดี๋ยวเรากลับไปชมเด็กคิดเด็กทำกันแล้วก็กลับไปที่สถานีวันนี้ดิฉันสิริบุญณัฐพันธ์ลากันไปก่อนสวัสดีค่ะ